Hey everyone, John here again with another things you need to know before you buy a game video. So, seeing how our last video did really well, I thought I'd try another one of these with Shadow of War. Unlike our last video, I'm making sure everything in this one is completely confirmed by the developers, or have already, been confirmed by people who have actually played the game and have footage of this thing I'm talking about. So, some of these things in this video might piss people off. Some stuff is stuff that I personally don't like. I'm sure you guys already know what I'm going to get into. Let's just get this out of the way. In this game, there are stuff like loot boxes and microtransactions in the game. I was going to save this for the end of the video, but I thought this might be the thing that turns people off the most, so I thought I'd talk about it first. So, in the loot boxes, you can get stuff like legendary orcs, legendary weapons, legendary armor, and XP boosters. According to a bunch of early reviewers, the end of the game becomes a bit of a slog because of all the grinding you need to do to get the true ending. So, I just want to get this all out there. I personally don't agree with this. I do not like the idea of microtransactions being in my $60 games. And it is just a pain in the ass. It's very disappointing to see this in these games. And I know that a lot of people are getting annoyed with this too, because everyone's beating this dead horse, I guess you could say. It's a pain. It's really not a good thing to have in $60 games. And it's getting worse and worse the more games come out. So if you don't want to buy this game because of that, then I don't blame you. It becomes a pain in the ass according to people near the end of the game. And it's honestly just kind of a disappointment to hear that kind of stuff. I am personally buying this game. I will be streaming it on Wednesday, but I will not be taking part in any loot boxes or microtransactions. So you will not see me opening them unless the game forces me to, like a story mission tutorial thing is like, oh, open the box, hold X or whatever to open box. Then yeah, I'll have to do it to progress in the story. But unless the game forces me to, I will not open any single stupid box that the game gives us. And if you're with me on this, then leave the hashtag in the comments down below, hashtag fuckyourbox. And if you want, tweet me on at RedTrineTeam on Twitter. Link in the description, the same hashtag. I really hate microtransactions, but I am starting to hate loot boxes even more because it promotes gambling in games. And it's fucking atrocious, and I really do hate it. But moving on to the good stuff that's been coming out. So there are actually 9 tribes in Shadow of War. However, I'm only going to be talking about 7 tribes today, because 2 of the tribes have been locked off as DLC for ordering the Silver Edition or the Gold Edition. I forget which, but since they're not in the main game, $60 version of the game, I'm not talking about them because I think that's complete horseshit that they locked it off to a higher price. So, I'm not talking about them. But I will be talking about, the first one is the Fertile tribe. Feral tribe. Basically, these guys are all about animals and beast taming. Their bases are covered in animals. They have monsters in cages. They are very vicious in their fighting style. They bring Caragors to battle. They ride Caragors to battle. And they also have Caragor meat, maybe, I think, also Wyron meat around. So, or Drakes, whatever people want to call them, meat around their bases. And you can actually shoot the meat to attract more monsters to fight them. However, they might be able to tame them. I don't know. Judging from the gameplay, they do. But their armors are covered in fur and leather and animal heads on top of their heads. So that's pretty cool. They also have really cool claw things in their hands, apparently. This in the video has it, and I think it looks really cool. The second tribe we're going to talk about is the Warmonger tribe. These guys are my favorite. These guys love war, because these guys are covered in heavy-duty armor, black and red armor with fur on it. It looks really cool. And these guys are vicious fighters. They're bred for basically just war, really. And they're probably going to be the front lines in a lot of people's siege attacks. They just look so cool. But there's really not much more than that. They're just the heavy-duty guys. And they look, again, really cool. The third tribe we're going to talk about today is the Marauder tribe. These guys are basically like super bandits, I guess. They steal everything. They even have gold elf armor. So I want to know how the hell they got the gold armor, to be honest. But they're actually just really cool in a way, because if you put one of them in charge of your forts, which we'll talk about later on in the video, you can actually get a huge bonus to money. And that's pretty useful. They're also just there to look really nice, because they're, you know, covered in gold. Next up is the Terror Tribe. These guys are pretty standard. It's in their name. They're built for fear tactics. They're also really gross. They apparently have just animals hanging in their homes. I'm pretty sure they probably have like bodies hanging around too, if I'm being honest. And their armors are just fleshy, gross looking, kind of Mad Max looking armor with spikes and skulls on them. Next is the Mythic Tribe. So the Mythic Tribe is kind of pretty cool because they're basically necromancers. So they can bring stuff like orcs back to life, they can bring stuff like Caragors back to life. I don't know how many other things they bring back to life, but from what I've seen so far is only orcs and Caragors. So if you're going to have one of these guys on your side, it's probably a good idea to have the guy that can bring other orcs back to life. Probably going to have one of these guys as a frontline guy too, just to bring everyone back to life. But their armors are mainly covered in dark metal, leather, and they wear masks too. Next up is the Dark Tribe. I'm gonna give you a second to figure out what these guys are all about. Dark fucking magic. Also stealth, I think, judging from the trailer. These guys are not exactly like the Mythic Tribe. They focus on cursing and what looks like teleporting. And they'll, again, stealth as well. They don't have quite as much armor as the other tribes, but I think that's the whole point. They're supposed to be stealthy and quick. Their armor mainly focuses on black leather and masks, and some hoods from what I can tell. The last tribe that I'm going to talk about is the Machine Tribe. These guys are actually really cool as well. They're basically like the blacksmiths of Mordor. They wear a lot of steel-plated armor, and they even have bombs and flamethrowers. They wear heavy armor, and their bases are mainly focused on industry and factory looking. So you can see a lot of chimneys, a lot of fire, and a lot of just making weapons. So now that we get all the orc tribes out of the way, let's talk about the Nemesis system that has to do with the orcs. So if you're not aware of the Nemesis system, the Nemesis system essentially makes it so nothing is forgotten, which is what they constantly keep saying in their promotion stuff. Stuff like if you go up to an orc and try to kill him and don't succeed, he'll remember that. And he'll come back stronger and angrier, and he'll attack you when you're not expecting it. Also, saving orcs that you have dominated can make them remember you saved them, and they'll try to save you later on. Also, if an orc manages to kill you, they will get a huge, XP bonus for doing so, and they'll actually get stronger and stronger. That's why they call it the Nemesis system. There's a little more to it than that, but if you remember the original Shadow of Mordor, it's basically that, just way better. They also managed to randomly generate all these different orcs, which is a part of the Nemesis system. The Nemesis system. The Nemesis system. I cannot say that word correctly. The Nemesis system also randomly generates orcs with different attributes, weakness, and strengths, such as being scared of fire, being enraged when betrayed, stuff like that. All orcs are also given personality traits, like some actually could be polite here and there. Like I've met actually a polite orc in the first Shadow of Mordor, and some are also just flat out creepy. And the longer you actually leave an orc to be alive, if you're not, planning on capturing them or taking them over, they'll actually get stronger and stronger. And the longer you wait, the stronger they'll get. But you can do the same with your orcs. Say you dominate an orc and you want to level him up, you can send them out to do missions and he'll get stronger and stronger. But if he dies, he's basically just dead, which is kind of sad. However, in the first game, it was kind of a pain in the ass to, say, find an orc with the traits that make it so he's immune to, melee, immune to stealth, and immune to range attacks. So it makes it a pain in the ass to actually kill guys like that. In this version of the game, they seem to have tweaked it a little bit, so there's less insanity when it comes to like immunities. The orc system is more refined and better when it comes to, say, weaknesses versus strengths. So hopefully we won't find a guy who's immune to everything, and all you need to do to kill him is throw him off a cliff. Now that we talked about all that, let's talk about branding. Let's go a little more into it. It's basically brainwashing, in a way. You're basically turning an orc from evil to still evil, but on your side, I guess you can say. It's a little weird. It's a little bit of a gray area with, you know, morality, but you're essentially going up to an orc, taking their mind over, and putting them on your side. However, in the original Shadow of Mordor, you used to be able to do this to pretty much any orc as long as they weren't, like, specific to story or whatever, and as long as you met all the requirements for it. In the new Shadow of War, it seems that if they're too much of a high level, you won't be able to do that now. You have to either be at their level or have them lower than you, which could make things pretty interesting. But with all these new orcs, you gotta do something fun with them. So why not attack a giant fortress with them? Yeah, now in Shadow of War, there's a new system called the Siege system. You can upgrade your army and attack a giant fort full of other orcs to take it over. So these upgrades actually go from upgrading captains on in your army to catapults to different animals to join with you, like Caragors or fucking Drakes, which are basically giant fire-breathing dragons, to go with you in the siege. These sieges are pretty dangerous if you're not careful. You can actually end up losing all your captains if you're not prepared to go in there. Before you even attack a fort, you can also prepare by sending in spies to fuck things up. But these spies can also get killed if you're not careful. So you gotta prepare a lot before taking one of these forts over. They're actually really cool, and a lot of people are they're talking about how these things are a lot of fun to do, but they're also talking about how incredibly hectic it is because there's so much shit going on all at once. But while you're attacking a giant fort, you should probably protect yourself. Luckily in Shadow of War, they've also added things like a loot system that is outside of the loot boxes. So stuff like swords, knives, and armor, bows will be dropped after you kill stuff like captains. These different items can give you buffs like having fire on your sword, being resistant to explosives, being resistant to poisons, which is something I'm pretty sure I'm going to focus on because, God, the poisons are annoying in this game, from what I can tell at least. And different attributes that make your attacks just better or give you better resistances to other things. They've also made the map much bigger. From what I can tell, there are multiple different maps with varying sizes. You also get to see things like different cities, a bunch of different characters, and from what I can tell, it seems to be going really well for this game so far. Other than the microtransactions and loot boxes, which piss me off personally, everything else seems to be just fine for this game. And I know there's also a bunch of people that are getting annoyed if this game is this game canon or not canon. Honestly, that's all up in the air right now because, honestly, I don't really care if it's canon or not. I just want to get my hands on the game. But yeah, I'm going to start streaming this game starting Wednesday, and if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys want me to improve on, if things like this are things you want to see more on our channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!